and or doing a little bit of the side stuff that goes along with it. So, oh, that's a little bit weird. Okay, maybe I accidentally cut off my intro. That sucks. In case I did cut off my intro, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of our Elden Ring Fear the Old Lore playthrough. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm a little bit behind schedule. Okay. Astinex, Vacuous, Bjarki, nice to see all of you guys. Boris. So yeah, in case my intro did get cut off, yesterday we went through the rest of Fair Missoula fighting Malekith. We gave him all of the death root that we had in our possession. And hey, St. Trina, nice to see you again. Yeah, you missed Malekith. You missed all the cool purple flames. But the good news is it is archived on my channel. And there's plenty of footage publicly available at this point now. So today we have Hoarah, Loux, Radagon, Marika, and the Elden Beast. And as we showed off last time, for whatever reason in this version of the game, we can't summon Shabibi for this fight. So now that we can't do that, I'm debating whether or not I should purge the Frenzy Flame, but I don't know. We could wait for that. Maybe I'll do the Frenzy Flame ending so we could look at like Melena's Eye. Because that's probably... it's probably just as familiar as like Rondi's ending at this point. Yeah, you can take screenshots. Feel free. You can even take footage if you want. And if you need more screenshots, just let me know as always. You think the Greater Will's vision of perfect order will never be achieved because the Rune of Death being removed? See, I wonder if we actually do reincorporate the Rune of Death into the Elden Ring if we ever mend it. But I don't know, because it almost sounds like that would be counter to like Goldmask's ending, because he wants to like perfect the Golden Order. But does perfecting the Golden Order just mean like having it with the Rune of Death? I don't know. Stella, nice to see you again. Okay, so what else should we talk about? We did come through here. There's no Black Knife Assassin, obviously. We got the Erdtree heal, I think, from Marika's bedchamber. We did talk about the Erdtree and the Elden Ring depicted on the door last stream, but I'm not so sure that there's really anything else to say. We do have like Ash and Leyndell we can go to, as well as like fighting all the ulcerated tree spirits and stuff, all three of them. Like, quite honestly, don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and see Hoarah, Loux and traverse the mist.
It's been a long while, Morgoth. Long and hard didst thou fight, tarnished warrior, spurned by the grace of gold. Be assured the Elden Ring resteth close at hand. Alas, I am returned. To be granted audience once more. Upon my name as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
So there's quite a bit to talk about with that cutscene, so let's hear his death quote, or kill quote rather, and then I'll monologue a bit.
'Twas nobly fought. Thy rest is well deserved.
So that final line, if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't appear in the retail, so it's kind of fun to show off those little differences. So Bjarki asked, have I played version 1.0 before, or am I just discovering the differences as you go? The answer to that question is yes. I have played 1.0, but it's not like I did absolutely everything, because the game is huge and I didn't want to like invest another 300 hours just to like go through each little area and everything like that. So I did most things, like I fought all the demigods, I got a decent amount of items, but I didn't like explore every nook and cranny. So there's a decent amount that I still haven't seen and was discovering in this playthrough. But that's a good question. Hold on. Dog moment. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. You really got to feel bad for him seeing his son die in his own arms. That's tough. Yeah, for sure. Bjarki says the color of the fire is different. See, it did seem more vibrant to me, but it's kind of hard for me to tell because I've mostly played on PC. I don't know whether it's strictly like a PC to PS5 difference or just a 1.0 to retail difference. So I'll need to look at that a bit more closely, but thanks for bringing that up. Earthmind and Clown, welcome back to the stream. What do I think of the idea that the Tarnished player is a descendant of him? That's an interesting question. I think it would be kind of disappointing to me. Like, that's kind of one trope that is just always a little bit disappointing, that the protagonist of a game, movie, or whatever piece of media is, like, related to somebody that was, like, super powerful or something like that, so that's why they always get their abilities. I mean, sometimes it makes sense, but it's just really overdone to me, and I find more appeal in like a protagonist gaining powers on their own merit rather than like hereditarily. So to answer that question like a bit more directly, because I assume that I didn't exactly go with what you were looking for there. I could see merit to the Tarnished being a direct descendant of Godfrey to some degree, because like all the Tarnished followed him, but by the same token, I think there's also a decent amount of Tarnished that weren't necessarily directly related to Godfrey. So, yeah. Is the Erd Tree in its gold form just an illusion like Godfrey? So, it depends what you mean by illusion. If anything, I think that's a little bit of an unfortunate phrasing. And I don't want to say like it's incorrect or anything, because it is technically correct. However, there's a connotation in English of illusion more or less meaning something that isn't real and it's fake. Whereas the Japanese used for it is kind of, it's similar to illusion obviously, but I think it has a stronger implication of being like incorporeal. So you can think of it as like a spirit tree, which I think aligns with our golden seeds, which says it's found at the base of an illusory tree. And I think it just makes more sense if it's an incorporeal tree. Because, I mean, the trees aren't fake. They're not an illusion. They exist, but I can't think of a good transition to end that. Okay. Vacuous says, a lot of contradiction about the stars in the trailers. The Elden Ring controlled the stars. It is said that the Golden Order fettered fate and Radagon stopped the stars to save Celia. All different reasons. So I do think it's in the telescope description where it talks about fate being sealed in the age of the Erd Tree. And this line has bothered me because it conflates the Age of the Erdtree with the Golden Order. So I think the way that I reconcile this would be that the Age of the Erdtree may have been a reference to Godfrey's age, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And then that's when Radagon of the Golden Order married Rennala, but I don't think the Golden Order really truly came into fruition until Radagon returned to Leyndell and became Elden Lord himself. Which isn't exactly what you were mentioning, but aside from that, there's another item that talks about the fate in the stars. I think it's the Stargazer heirloom. Or is it like... No, not this one. So maybe the astrologer set in retail. Let me just like do a quick search for fate. This is probably going to be... Yeah, and then like as you said, like the Radagon thing seems to contradict this description to a certain degree. But let me look at this up, the Star Scourge heirloom, real quick. In Japanese, that is. Hey guys. We have our favorite phrase showing up. Toyu. It is said. Okay, so Radagon didn't necessarily seal the stars according to this description. There might be another one, so I'm gonna keep looking. Drawstring freezing grease, that's different. I don't think I have that one. Can I craft it? No, we just have freezing grease. Okay, no, this says the same thing. Okay. Celestial Dew mentions it a little bit. I'm pretty sure there's one more. I just want to find it. So sorry for the awkward pauses. Okay, maybe there isn't another item that directly mentions it. That's weird. It could just go by another term that I'm just not looking up properly. Okay. Alright, back to chat. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome, Earthmind, for streaming. Boris says, maybe the burning form is the true Erdtree state since the shattering, and the golden one we see as some kind of illusion or mischief. I don't think it's illusion or mischief because it's always referred to as the golden tree. So it seems like it should have been gold specifically for a while. You might be able to make the argument that it's still golden right now and this is like the true red gold, but I don't know, that seems a little bit far-fetched to me. Jay Dixon and Katie, welcome back to the stream. JD says, honest question, is the Erdtree always in the same location? When you're far away, it almost seems like you're still just as close as ever, almost like it's golden projection. You don't know if that makes sense. Yes, the Erdtree is always in the same location. I think part of it is just because like when you get at certain distances, they kind of use low poly models and the geometry around it can look a bit different as well, but if you use like the compass and stuff and like the free cam, you can tell that it's in the same spot. I didn't get the Two Fingers talisman. No, I should probably go do it. I don't remember where it is off the top of my head. I should look it up. Two Fingers. Talisman. Where is it? The Purified Ruins. Oh, in Liurnia. Okay, wait. Didn't we go there when we did the Hayata stuff? I do have more to say about Godfrey as well, so I might talk about that. No, that'd be further south, right? Yeah, so maybe I just went in the wrong place. Scowl and Voice, welcome back, and Yogi. Landell already had ash in it for some reason, unless that was a ton of dirt. Yeah, I thought something else was in there when we did the Shabriri grape thing, but I didn't see it when we first came through here. Maybe I was just blind and distracted. Vacu says, in these games, something beautiful leads to like the worst thing imaginable. The Urchi being an example. So, it should have been here, right? I thought there was another room and I missed it. Maybe it's in like those parts of the ruins. I guess there's nothing in this tower. It's a little strange. Scowl Easy says, random thought, being semi-immortal means Mikola could completely drain himself of blood over and over for his tree. Maybe Mo goes on to something with how much blood he needed. Okay, so it looks like they changed it. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about missing it. Well, because there's really nothing to be done about it. It's not like it's a good thing we missed it. Going back to Godfrey. It's gonna bother me, the one description that I can't think of with the fates in the sky. Maybe if I look up sky. Alright. Doesn't... Okay. So yeah, apparently Radagon's thing holding back fate is hearsay. Which is annoying, but it kind of makes sense because we always did have those questions of like, how can the stars align for the Radagon festival if the stars have been truly sealed in their motions? So that could kind of be resolved, and that's it's just kind of people misunderstanding what Radagon did. Okay, so yeah, going back to the Godfrey stuff. I'll talk over the cutscene this time. I forgot that the cutscene doesn't play again. Which is a little bit strange, because like the Marika one always does. I guess she like teleports. So it's always like phase 2 that he goes through. Alright, so when he comes in here, he obviously picks up his son Morgott. And then Morgott fades to gold. His like horns have been gone, but that's happened ever since like we fought him and everything like that. So I wondered whether or not Morgott fading away was how Godfrey regained his grace. And after he does fade away, like the golden grace that was in Morgott starts pointing towards us. And it's a little bit ambiguous whether or not it's our grace pointing to Godfrey or Godfrey regaining grace that's pointing to us. That's like kind of having a destined, fated battle, which might be kind of analogous to what happened with Wilhelm and Vargrim, where they were kind of destined to duel it out in the Round Table Hold until Bernal and the Tarnished intervened in the battle and settled it for them, I guess. So, as I mentioned before in a couple of the previous streams, the nature of grace is a bit nebulous because if the Greater Will had a kind of unified plan, it doesn't necessarily lead each individual down a path worthy of becoming the Elden Lord, because Nefeli Loux also saw grace, but I think she abandoned her path, and that's how she ends up becoming Lord of Stormvale, I guess. And Marika never saw grace, but Wilhelm and Vargrim are like two of the shining examples to me of like people not following grace properly. Or, well, I guess they do properly follow the grace, but like it just doesn't end well. And I thought there was one other example that I can't think of off the top of my head. Alright. What are my thoughts on the huge number of the stone tablets in Marika's chamber? That's a good question. I've wondered whether or not that was just her trying to research the nature of grace at times. I've also wondered if it's supposed to be kind of similar to how Rennala has a bunch of tombstones in her boss arena to like recreate rebirth for all of her juvenile scholars, perhaps? Scalese says maybe he only stops certain stars. That's kind of how I feel about it. You think Radagon does it to signal the festival? Oh, that's a good explanation, Vacuous. I like it, but the only issue I really think that there could be with it would be whether or not Radagon has the wherewithal to do such a thing. Because he does seem like somewhat mindless due to the Scarlet Rot. Which, I mean, doesn't make it impossible for him to do it, but it's also strange that they have a festival at all. It almost seems like it needs to be necessary to make Radagon mortal long enough to be killed, which would put the Carian fate back into motion, I guess. Marika being a god means you'd want to write down everything she says. True, but like, why store it in her bedroom rather than a royal library or something? And I said library ironically, by the way. The ways of the miracle are twisted indeed. Hoarah Loux gives Senator Armstrong vibes. Blackguard. Oh yeah, Blackguard Bogart. Thank you, Boris. Yeah, that's the other dude whose grace kind of fails him. Thank you for bringing him up. Is Vare tarnished? He seems able to see grace. Yes, he should be considered tarnished. I don't think there's any reason to doubt that. I should go around and like try to deathbite as many of the tarnished as I could. I did do it on a couple, but I don't believe I tested it on him specifically. And it's a lot easier to do that on PC when I can like disable the enemy AI and keep them in the cloud long enough where it's like functionally feasible. Alright, was there anything else in this intro cutscene? Obviously, he has Sarash on his back. And Sarash doesn't look as gold right here. Maybe that's just... And so, Sarash really brings up a lot of questions for me as well. Because he kind of resembles Malekith, but he looks more like a lion rather than kind of like a hound. So is he supposed to be a Shadowhound beast or something like that? One of the other interesting things is there's a giant scar going down one of Sarash's eyes. So I've wondered whether or not the beast eye should have originally belonged to Sarash. And somebody had said they'd switch the names of Malekith and Sarash. And if that were true, that could potentially align with how, in this version of the game, specifically, and it's not in the Japanese because I had a friend check for me, the beast eye... Wait, that's not it. It's the gouged out eye of Malekith himself. So if Sarash and Malekith switch names, maybe this is supposed to be where it came from. But that's a really big if, and I don't really think it changes much. It's just kind of a random thought. But for what it's worth, Blythe also has a purple eye, and it's not really just a dead ringer giveaway that it could be like related to the Glowmide Queen or anything like that. Tarnished are the people that lost their grace and were exiled. Don't know why he never lost it. Sorry, who? Are you talking about Vare? Because I would say he'd probably have been brought back into the Lands Between. Was the weird red thing in the key inventory? Are you talking about... I'm assuming... And somebody else asked me about it. This one? The red insignia? This is what you get for completing all the assassination quests in Volcano Manor. If there's another one, let me know. So, Siraj, yeah. Siraj is on his back, and one of the interesting things is that I know some Sinister Stromboli likes to point out in his streams is when Malekith goes from the Beast Clergyman into his armored form, he takes this really long breath, and Godfrey kind of inverts that. When he rips out Siraj and reverts back to his normal self, he also takes a breath. But I don't really know how significant that is, because I think it's just a, archetypically stereotypical cool guy TM anime move where you just breathe and like steam comes out of your mouth. Because we also see like Gascoigne doing it in Bloodborne. So take that for what you will. Now, going back to the visual design of Godfrey himself, when we fought Godfrey, he was obviously like a spectral image, and his axe wasn't broken. So this version of Godfrey's axe is broken. He has Siraj on his back. So it is questionable, like, what sequence of events truly happened, like, in terms of when he gained Siraj and, like, when his axe broke. So my headcanon is he might have like fought Siraj, and the gash on Siraj's eye could have come from the axe. But again, there's nothing to really substantiate that. It's just, I think that sounds cool, so I like to believe it. And I do think it's really unfortunate that we never really get to see Siraj on its own. Maybe the DLC, guys. The DLC will fix everything. But on a more serious note, maybe I said it, but I've wondered whether or not Siraj is like the equivalent of a Shadowhound Beast. I think I did say that at the beginning, but I don't remember. You don't think the deep breath is significant? The whole Grace thing has always confused you a bit. It's all good, Clowny. Is that one in the later patches too? I'm pretty sure. I don't remember it not being there. Hey, Spaghetti, welcome back in. Okay, I did. Okay, thank you. And yeah, as we'd mentioned on yesterday's stream towards the end, Godfrey's name, Hoarah Loux, at one point in development was associated with Goldmask. So it's a little bit difficult to say how relevant the names are sometimes. Because the Goldmask Hoarah Loux is quite a big departure. But the written dialogue or text for that could have come and been cut super early, because there's dialogue of Godfrey being called Hoarah Loux. And it seems like the dialogue would have had to have been locked in fairly early, because very little of the dialogue really changes between versions of the game. I do wish I had like the closed network test and or access to its files to see how different they are. I might need to do some digging about that. You feel bad for Siraj? Your man didn't deserve to be torn apart like that. Hoarah Loux works better for Godfrey, especially like with Nefeli Loux and stuff. Scal says, can't we assume that Morgott created the Godfrey illusion? Either he didn't know what Godfrey looked like now, or he wanted the most noble version of him. And right, and so yeah, thanks for like putting that into words, because I was totally struggling right then. When I was saying like the sequence of events. So did Morgott know Godfrey when he had Siraj? Did he know Godfrey after his axe was broken? Those are like some of the resounding questions that can be brought up as a result of the visual design. But just as you said, it could just be Morgott trying to fulfill the image of Godfrey in his greatest glory, I guess. Alright, so I think that's all I wanted to say about him for now. I thought there was another really important point, and I might have already talked about it, though. Oh, yeah. I didn't talk about it, and this is probably like one of the most important like questions I think can be brought up in relation to Godfrey. So now that I've hyped it up to some degree, one gigantic question that remains unanswered is why now? Why does Godfrey come back into the lands between now, especially when we see in the intro trailer that he died in the Blasted Lands, or Badlands, I guess, with a bunch of like swords and like spears piercing both his body and Siraj, like super metal. Makes me wonder like who the hell actually managed to kill him outside of the lands between. So why didn't he ever come back after that? Was the intro just like not depicting Tarnished coming back at the same time? Are they like all spread out? I think you could make that judgment to some degree, because like Dungeater's been in here for a while, Gideon has been in here for a while longer than us, but maybe Godfrey just got outside the lands between and he's only just now returning like in a natural cycle. But to put on our tinfoil hat or our mirror helmets, redundant, I've wondered whether or not the reason Godfrey couldn't come back into the lands between is because the sealing of destined death was tied to him somehow. Because he only comes back after we get the Rune of Death for ourselves and set the Erd Tree aflame. Now, I don't really know how likely that is, but it's just one thing that has crossed my mind. Maybe he didn't get his call to come back until everyone else failed. Yeah, it's just very strange. Blasted Lands, that's too far south. Thanks, Master Duel Max. Welcome back. Godfrey is Mortis's favorite character from this game, maybe because he gives you Dominus Gaul vibes and you love that archetype. Darky says, maybe because he was supposed to take the Elden Ring back or give us a final test to take the Elden Ring from him or something. Well, he's tarnished just like us, and he also received Marika's message just like us, and he says he wants to seek audience with her. So, one of the things that annoys me about some of these FromSoft games is just like how easygoing the protagonists are. Like, if that were me walking up on like Godfrey praying and like seeking audience with Marika, I'd be like, okay, yeah, go seek audience, but bro, what the hell is going on here? Like, just ask a damn question, you know? It's so annoying. Between like him and Ronnie and just not having access to so many mysteries that they could just answer if we ever asked the question. And even Melina to a certain degree. Gideon doesn't even mention him? Yeah. So yeah, Godfrey doesn't also seem to be on Gideon's radar, which is another good point that this dude is just kind of in his own little world up until this point, really. And I'm saying that loosely, like I don't mean that literally, by the way. Katie said, you think his destined death is to die at the foot of the Erd Tree defending Marika, but that ties into your interpretation of destined death. No, I mean, I kind of agree with that mostly, with the whole idea of fate being a thing. However, I also think fate can be avoided if somebody has enough willpower to do it, and emphasis on power and willpower, which kind of also ties back into like how we can revert the fate of the Lord of the Frenzied Flame. The Tarnished is part mime, yeah. The protagonist has one character trait, and it's being determined to do their task, and that's it. So single-minded. Yeah. Just imagine if you got to play a FromSoft game where the protagonist isn't a murder hobo. Speaking of murder hobos... Huh. He's tankier than I thought. So I really like the Godfrey fight. I like the Godfrey fight. I tried to jump. Well, I actually tried to dodge. So after you do get his health down a bit, he kind of transitions into a pseudo second phase, where he gets like the aura, he gets more AoE attacks. This is gonna hurt. I had my staff out anyway, I was trying to like defend. Zoinks. I've also wasted a lot of heals. Okay, cool, we can see the back of him. Phase 1.5. Pretty sure Murder Hobo is a New Vegas build. I mean, Murder Hobo just perfectly describes any Soulsborne protagonist. Even Sekiro is kind of like a Murder Hobo. Because Ashina estate, or Hirata estate, got burned. So he has no home. This fight doesn't feel totally unfair. You love it. Yeah, and that's like another part of why I like it. There's like a lot of ways that like the Elden Ring mechanics play into it. Like being able to jump over attacks is something that I think is like really cool ever since Sekiro. And so it can be a viable strat, especially if you're trying to like poise break to jump over like his stomps and like counterattack and all that. Scaleezy says, they've mentioned it before, but we don't even really know what Elden Lord means. Do they actually do anything? I guess they're the ruler with Marika being wrecked, but do you actually get any godly power? And yeah, that's a good question. Like, you'd think that if we were applying for the job of Elden Lord, we should know what's in the job description, right? So yeah, I jumped over that attack and I followed up. Oh, that's a little bit surprising. And so while he does have a gigantic AoE at times, a lot of his stuff is, you know, pretty fair. Okay, so I need to like jump earlier if I want to actually be able to counter that. Oh, my tracking. Run away! I tried to jump, but I was too slow. Alright, his posture will have like completely recovered that. Okay. I just mistimed my roll. That was me.
Thy rest is well deserved.
How much would you need to donate for me to kill him with bare fists and it has to be this way playing in the background? Well, if it's copyrighted, we're gonna nix that plan. The sheer quality shift between this fight and Millennia is astounding. Yeah. Like, this is a fight that feels good to do solo, but some of these bosses definitely feel, like, over-designed and that you need something else to take off aggro. LMAO at the fact that Godfrey doesn't even care about getting back together with his ex-wife, never mentions it. Well, he does. He seeks audience. So maybe he's, trying to reconcile their relational differences? I doubt it, but... The mention of New Vegas reminded you... The Epic Store is giving away a free copy of Fallout New Vegas now? Oh, that's cool. Elden Lord's ultimately a pawn like those who link the flame. Spaghetti's question would be if Thea or Ronnie become the new vessel for the Elden Ring in their respective endings. It seems like Ronnie would be, because like Marika fades away. Marika's made of stone and Ronnie's made of presumably wood. So maybe that makes them better vessels? Should have jumped further to the side, I guess. I tried rolling, but I was too slow. That was a me problem. There we go. I was baiting this. The visceral attacks on Godfrey are just so obscene. Uh-oh. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't kill me in the scene transition.
That will be all. Thou didst me good service, Siraj. I've given thee courtesy enough. Now I fight as Hoarah Loux. Warrior!
Oh lord, he coming. Oh no, it buffered it, and I still got hit. Did he get hit himself? I wish I was playing with the HUD for a second just to see that. Oh no. Alright, yeah, maybe I should get got. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of funny. It seemed like his audio was on like where his body initially was. He says the crown is warranted with strength. Yeah, that transition into second phase is really fascinating to me because it seems as though Siraj is holding back his bloodlust, which is kind of what we're told verbatim in one of the item descriptions. So, you know, really big revelation there, I know. However, I wonder if part of the reason for that is because like the beasts were granted intelligence by the Greater Will or the Five Fingers or whatnot. Watching these streams always makes you want to play. My condolences, clown. You'd bet there's going to be a fan mod one day for that rebalances the bosses and the spirit ashes to make it more fun to solo. I'm sure. I just I'm a little bit sad that it would take a mod to do it. Poor Lion, he could have just asked Siraj to get off his back. Oh yeah, so one thing that I wanted to mention with that is I wondered whether or not Godfrey was using this fight as a pretext to kill Siraj. And that he wanted to do it ever since, like, everything happened with Marika and whatnot. Oh, I did too much damage to him. Okay. John Bailey Owen, welcome back.
Rest
There should be a secret combo you can do during a boss transition cutscene that kills them while they're just talking. That combo is just dealing so much damage that they die before the transition even happens. Goddess Baguette says, wait, Five Fingers? Do you think there were actual five-fingered entities? Just curious. So, we've mentioned this before in a couple of the streams, especially like as we went to the Fair Missoula one, and we picked it up behind the Bestial Sanctum, that the Cinque Dea's description in Japanese doesn't say that it celebrates a beast's five fingers. It says that the five fingers represents the intelligence that was granted to beasts. And there is like five fingers on this weapon. So that doesn't necessarily mean that there were like five fingers, like all capital letters and whatnot. However, the Japanese leaves enough doubt for that to be a possibility. So that's kind of why I reference it here. But either way, the beasts have been granted intelligence by something. And if it's related to the fingers and light and everything, that just kind of goes in with some of my ideas about how the Shadowhound beasts are controlled by the two fingers and everything. Master Hand and Crazy Hand, yeah. You've heard the idea of the 2 and 3 fingers being one before. And yeah, it could potentially come back around into that belief as well. I ran out of stam. Because I'm being cool and playing HUDlessly. Oh, that was totally me. That attack is so delayed. I literally jump once and have enough time to jump again. Okay, I need to jump faster on that one and roll later. Oops, I didn't realize it was that low.
Nobly fought. Thy rest is well deserved.
I just have fun, like, actually fighting him, so I'm not Hoarfrost stomping so much. Trying to break the posture. The dragons have 5 fingers, too. Yeah, no problem, Spaghetti. Final boss could have been a golden hand fight instead of a big blob. Godfrey got the team on his back. Weird, vague correspondence with Twin Princess fight. True story. Stompfest. You'd fight so much worse if you had 30 people watching you. I mean, after a while you kind of get over it. It just depends, like, if you, like, look at chat. That's the real kicker. Should get some stam. I should heal, really. Okay. Okay, I'm in dire straits. Ooh, okay, I had more health than I thought. A disembodied arm and hand would have been more cosmic than a goo dragon wielding a sword. It was a joke, but you're liking this idea more now. Uh-oh. Oh, he missed. What a Goomba. He pulled off a Tarnished move right there. That's how you know he's a real Tarnished. When he whiffs his attacks like that. I will say, like, Sarash being on his back does make it a bit harder to read some of his attacks. Or, not his attacks, but just, like, the distance to his body. There we go. The delays are real. Is it a real endgame fight if you're not using 7 buffs beforehand? My buff is Hoarfrost Stomp when I use it. The lore through ain't a lore through if the chat ain't being wholesome and cheering along. Thanks. Appreciate it. Memo Man, welcome to the stream. Kind of seems during the transition that Sirash is about to join the fight, but Hoarah Loux is too proud for that. True.
Thou didst me good service.
It does also bother me that you don't really see Sirash with either of its eyes open. I'd like to just double check his eyes. KD doesn't really buy 5 fingers. You think that 3 fingers are just mocking the greater will. So I think there's room for both. That the 3 fingers could be making up part of the one great to make themselves and their mission seem more sympathetic to characters like Hayata and possibly the Tarnished.
Courtesy enough.
But I think there could have also been 5 fingers that were different from how the 3 fingers could portray them. I don't fully buy it either, but I think there's just room for that interpretation, which is kind of why I bring it up. Yeah, Revenant, I do wish there were more fights that incentivize jumping. There are a couple, like Crucible Knight is like Godfrey with the Stomp. And welcome back to the stream. Scowl says, the Order-Chaos dichotomy is always troped to hell as being the original being. I rolled too soon. Mashing's not going to help. I like his little jazz hands as he walks around. What is... I wonder if his audio is stuck to one location. Because it shouldn't have been that way. Okay. When I'm done with this playthrough, will you continue streaming something else? That's a good question. Actually, our good friend Father Rat did a crazy thing, and he became like the highest tier of patron. So as like my thank you for that, I asked him if he wanted me to stream a game or like play something with him, because we play Destiny a lot, and he said he wanted me to stream Demon Souls. So I don't know if I'm going to do like the full stream. I don't have the original to play or like a PS3. So I do have the remake though. So I will be streaming Demon Souls, and more info will come about that. I'm thinking like maybe doing the stream Monday and then transitioning into watching some lore videos on stream. I mentioned this on the Discord, where if you guys have like certain videos you want me to watch, I might like put them in a playlist, because I was talking to the people in the Roundtable Hold if they'd be fine if I did that, and I've gotten pretty much everyone's okay. So that's kind of on the docket for now, but more information will follow. LP fights looking at the chat like movie characters holding a conversation, looking at each other while driving. Not on all of the fights. Like most of the fights, I definitely don't look at chat, because I'm a poor multitasker, but at the very beginning of this fight, Godfrey's passive enough where I can do that. And now I'm like paying the price for doing it. Actually getting clipped in phase 1 because I was bold enough to stomp. Why? I'm trying to uncrouch. Okay, I deserve that. I should also roll inward. He's a big boy even though he pretends to be a medium boy. Bless the rat. Yes, tonight's probably going to be the end of this playthrough, so we're just kind of milking the Godfrey stuff to give you guys a little bit more value for the stream, I guess. But I assume like the Radagon and Elden Beast fight is probably going to take a while, because they are kind of Hoarfrost Stomp immune. Everybody gangsta so the enemies jump over your attacks. Alright. I'm missing? There we go. Oh, I thought I was going to get hit for sure right then. Well, now we are. I want to heal more until we get into phase 2 so I don't have to deal with his charge attack. I tried rolling, and that time it just didn't roll. I should have had the stamina, so I'm really confused. Alright, yeah, I just choked.
Nobly fought. Thy rest is well deserved.
I do think it's unfortunate that that final line about the rest being well-deserved got cut. It kind of reminds me how in like Bloodborne, Jura used to say an extra line after you died, but after they like fixed the horrendous load times, which I mean still aren't like super great by any means, the game loads out too fast for him to finish. So we can't think about the meaning of the hunt. I'm way out of range. I rolled way too soon. Okay, I was trying to be cheeky and like roll out of that as it happened. I was just late.
Thy rest is well deserved.
Katie says, out of the hot takes you've said on the streams, your hottest is probably that you enjoyed the Elden Beast fight now, not just for the spectacle, but for the gameplay. Katie, just curious, do you use like a ranged build at all? Is that why you enjoy it? Because it's just too passive for like a lot of melee players. Yeah, if you could use Torrent, I think the fight would be better. And also it'd just be a lot more thematic that since Horrent like shows us to start the journey. Oh wow. That he could join us for the final fight. Alright, my guy, you're gonna attack? Nope. Oh, I mean, I don't know why it didn't roll. Thought he was close enough to the phase. Uh-oh, I shouldn't panic roll that. I need to iframe it. Right, now it should be good. Yo, Foster, welcome back in. How will you ever know about the meaning of the hunt? Put the loading times back. As a pure mage, Elden Beast as hell, you get one shot to death. I mean, you'd take the same amount of damage if you weren't a mage. Frostbite is just bleed for people too proud to use bleed. Scal says, the only gripe they have with the Elden Beast lore-wise is you should see glimpses of him controlling Radagon throughout his fight. It would make it a lot more intimidating. I feel like they should have gone the Moon Presence route with the Elden Beast. Like, maybe if you collected all the runes, then you get to fight it? Because it does seem to come out of left field at first, but honestly, there's actually quite a lot of foreshadowing to it, and I'll talk about that a bit more when we get there.
I've given thee courtesy enough.
Katie just loves embarrassing the Elden Beast with broken melee builds. It's so satisfying, and the AI is so dumb that you can predict its next move like Jonathan Joestar. But Torrent would be an improvement. Radagon really upset you after being frustrated with the endgame bosses in general. Elden Beast isn't bad, but following Radagon, it drove you nuts. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it would have been much better if it wasn't... damn it, I did it again. So I probably have enough time to stomp and then roll, because that's so slow. Alright. No mercy for the Hoarah Loux form of the fight. I'm gonna die. I did it again. I need to iframe that better. My timing for it is just off. I'm just more panic rolling than actually responding. And they do a good job at like getting veterans with just their delayed attacks. But Elden Ring really just feels like they dialed it up to like actual 11. Like when Dark Souls 3 came out, it felt like they did that sometimes. But oh man, Elden Ring is so much worse. Something greater will. Hey, you absolutely agrees. Welcome back to the stream. You don't know why they don't have a secret boss you can fight after collecting all of the great runes. Hoarah Loux wouldn't be out of place in Street Fighter 6. For real though, I could totally see him in being in like Soul Calibur, because they do that stuff a bit more often. Man. Oh, I finally did it. Okay. I'm gonna get got. That's cool. I tried rolling, but I think I like sprinted. I thought I was gonna get clipped. Hey guys, I did it! This is gonna hurt. Too bad you can't sip in the air. That'd be amazing. I'm gonna get got. I should have double drank, it didn't go though. That's so annoying. I rolled too soon. Okay, that was me. I didn't delay that one enough.
Thy rest is well deserved.
Skal says, yeah, for most of the endings, why would the Elden Beast fight you? Because you kill its god. But I think it'd be cooler as a secret boss and not one that you kind of have to boss rush. Like, I think the Radagon fight is so good, and it just gets absolutely ruined by the Elden Beast kind of stepping all over it. Just wait for the DLC as hardcore for people thinking it'll answer everything. That's why I like to say it so much. Just wait for the DLC. Am I playing with the UI off? Yeah. You're thinking that's your next challenge run? Oh, I just kind of get used to this, because this is how I've always gathered my footage. And after a while, like, you don't really notice it too much, because you kind of get a feel for how much damage the enemies are doing and how much you need to heal to go along with that. Some things are a bit deceptive, but in general, it's really not that bad once you get used to it. I think it makes the games look cleaner overall. I will say though that I think Elden Ring's a little bit of a disappointment on the UI-less fights, because you have like less physical indicators for things. So like at least in Dark Souls 2 even, like the character would kind of slouch over once they got injured. And Sekiro did have the red bloom effect, which I know did annoy some people, but it was kind of useful because that game is so cinematic that it's a little bit of a shame that it has a UI at all, but it's totally understandable why it does. Oh, I tried rolling. Oh god. Thought so. You had a much tougher time fighting his first phase than his second. All the windups look like attacks themselves. I feel like his second phase is harder for me. Revenant understands the complaints about Elden Beast. Could be better, but it's not like his fight takes insanely long. I think it'd be fine if you didn't have to do Radagon first. A Sekiro lore through would be really cool. I understand, I don't know, Sekiro just feels too linear for me to have like gotten super into it. Does Elden Beast heal off of holy damage in this version? Could have sworn he used to do that and they changed it. I would need to double check. I don't know. KD expects the DLC to either confirm or obliterate 3/4 of their theories, since From's DLCs tends to explain some mechanical things about the world, and your wildest takes are about that. Understandable. That's kind of how I feel. Oh no, so delayed. I need more blue juice and more stamina at this rate. Okay. Oh, that's the one I need to sprint, right? Maybe I think I just got lucky with my panic rolling iframes. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I think his like body is where, like his voice is where his body like initially spawns in. Foster says, one thing you noticed after seeing the PlayStation's Heroines art with Marika or Maria in it? You kind of appreciate how official From characters never show up in any kind of tacky, look, it's that guy from that thing promo. Yeah. All they need to do is just show up in a Nintendo promo instead, right? Have Gehrman or Godfrey in Smash. Actually, Godfrey would be really good. Well, and Gehrman, because they don't really have very many axe or scythe users. I should have just attacked. I tried rolling and it just didn't go for whatever reason. Oh wow, that clipped me? That's surprising. Uh-oh. Okay, I tried rolling, but it's just the input.
Rest is well deserved.
Like, I could have played that a little bit cleaner, I will admit that, but it's still a little bit annoying. You went Sekiro in Smash? Screw all those counters and parries. Ichi no. Solaire. If Sora could do it. Solaire for Smash. Nah, Smash already has enough swordies. Not that, like, Solaire wouldn't be iconic. Hey, you always wanted to see a scenario where you unite the lands together with Godfrey, since it seems like all the demigods are his biggest fanboys. Oh man. Oh man. Let's get the blue now, so I don't need to do that in the Hoarah Loux phase of the fight, if I can even get there. This is actually taking me a lot longer than I was anticipating. I mean, I did obviously sandbag a bit at the beginning. Uh-oh. He's just tankier than I think. Onion Knight with Buckler parry exclusively. Stray Goat, welcome in. He'd be a great summon. Yeah.
Be all.
A Mimic is a chest summon. Oh no. Sprint, 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 sprint. Okay, that just totally clipped me. He just kicked me in the face. So you can't really dodge his stomps. I actually need to like jump or something. He's just kind of hard to deal with because of how much ground he can cover. Okay, I thought he was gonna like bring the ground back up with him. Okay, so when he jumps into the sky like that, I need to run away. I was too delayed with that or something. Or I did it too soon. Run, 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 run. Okay, so I need to run and then dodge. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Maybe I should turn the HUD on. The Bloodborne Hunter with the ranged parry would make so many people rage, for sure. What's the lore behind Godfrey's WWE SmackDown attacks? My dude's a grappler. Elden Ring kind of went in development, in development, in development. Here's a release date. Yeah, I appreciate that, to be honest, because it gave me enough time to temporarily forget about it. Aw, man. I was just a little bit animation left there. That was totally me. I should have, like, done that better. Honestly, I was looking at my health bar, and that kind of got me caught. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to play better without the HUD, because it's a little bit easier to focus on the opponent. Man, he's at really low health for this. Oh, that doesn't do nearly as much damage as I thought. Does he actually have 2 health bars? Is that what it is? Yeah, okay, must be. Oh, no, 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 no.
'Twas nobly fought.
What's my vigor? We're at 60. He reminds you of a more aggressive Zangief.
Is well deserved.
Also, Opharius Omegon, welcome back to the stream. And Spoonbender, I don't remember if I welcomed you. Okay, okay. Let's be a bit more serious. We should be good with that. No, we don't need spell. Let's put on the physical resistance. Oh, I don't need that. No, that. That is definitely what I want. We don't need holy for him. Let's do more int. No, it's Alexander. Because we have that one now. I hiccuped. And just think some people play this at level 1. When they do stuff like level 1, they typically abuse some of the most broken things to make things a bit more manageable. I don't order my talismans from most permanent to least. I normally do, but then I change them for specific fights. At first I thought he was like taking literally no damage, and I was like, damn, Alexander's thing really paid off. And I guess if I really wanted to get serious, I could always just summon the Mimic or something. But on fun fights like that, I don't like to use the Mimic. So yeah, I'm definitely going to abuse the crap out of the Mimic in the Elden Beast fights. Oh no, 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 I was going to try to drink before I killed him. Or phased him, rather. Hoarfrost Stomp, yep. I mean, Hoarfrost Stomp, well, it's really good. It's not, like, the top of the line broken. And as Mortis says, like, L1 is all about game knowledge. They kind of just exploit the most exploitable attacks and just wait for those attacks to happen. Which is perfectly fine, like, how else are you going to really do it? But it's just not how I like to play. Damn it. I was too slow with that. I should have stomped, like, immediately and then gone for it. Damn, he just schooled me. Okay, okay. God. Your favorite Ash is Stormblade? Memo Man says the HP, FP, and stamina bars look really bright and saturated. You think they tuned down that color later on? Oh, they definitely did. These are like probably like placeholder ones, because the final versions are a bit more polished for sure. A lot of people like mentioned the UI throughout the playthrough because of how different it is. Damn it. Whoa, okay. You know, most of the time the hitboxes in this game are pretty good, so that one is a little bit surprising. Okay, I just need to like roll forward, obviously. Oh man. I'm really lucky he missed his attacks like a true Tarnished. You know how I talked about rolling forward and then immediately didn't do it? Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Somehow the strongest Poise Break build right now is Starfist with Cragblade. Well, they buffed a lot of the stuff. So yeah, like a lot of it does come down to game knowledge. Ah, dang it. I tried to delay it and then my timing was just off. That was me. Did I ever fix my... I never did I? Okay, okay. Let me get got. Because it just occurred to me, not that I've ever really run out of flasks fighting him yet. I never switched it back after Gideon and trying to Deathblight him. Speaking of Deathblight, one thing that I do wish, even though it would be cheesy as hell, would be that you could Deathblight Godfrey since he was like the first Tarnished, and Deathblight works on Tarnished folk. Hey, you asked if I played a lot of Destiny 2. Yes. A decent amount. For Elden Ring, there's also a lot of exploiting the broken abilities and builds. Seriously, the UI is so ugly. works on Tarnished except Gideon. Feels bad, man. He gets that boss privilege. Oh, he actually hit that one. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to tell where his body begins and, like, what Sharash is covering up. Okay. So I'll drink before phasing him. Leave me alone. Okay. If I have enough time, I will drink this flask. Foster says, despite the extra time they got, it's clear they were still cutting it close to getting this game out. Oh, it got delayed. Which shouldn't be so surprising to you given its size, yeah.
That will be all.
You think the challenge runs in Sekiro are more fun to watch? Well, I think Sekiro is a game where it forces you to master it, and you can legitimately complete it without any upgrades. Well, I think like Mikiti counter is almost like too important to miss out on, but you could do it obviously without it still. Am I interested in delving into the old marathon games? I don't even really know what it is, to be honest, so I'm not really on the hype chain for that. I'll need to like look into it. Oh, you can trigger one-hit kills on bosses. Teen Sith, the other stream, like I was bringing up how somebody killed one-shot Margit with a bubble. Oh, you meant with the, like, death blight. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. All right, here's the one. Here we go. I should have opened up with my stomp and immediately forgot. Oh, that still got me. That's annoying. It's got some real big combos, huh? Oh, no, I backed up. Oh, I thought he was going to clip me. I should have rolled inward. Run! Oh, that still hit me. My stomp didn't go through. He was too fast. YOLO. Oh no! I didn't even try to dodge because I was confident.
Tarnished. Thy strength befits a crown.
That felt really good. Epic finish. Thanks, everybody, for the GGs. The Ancient Dragon had a scripted kill? The one in Dark Souls 2? That looked cool and goofy at the same time. Alright, yeah, so that's the Godfrey and Hoarah Loux fight. I actually don't remember him laughing that much, but I don't think it would have changed either. It's just me probably misremembering. Or not remembering. Spoon missed it. I called it out. I said this was the one. No, it's all good. Feels bad when you ever have to like go to the bathroom or deal with pets and then like the thing happens. Hey, you says Marathon's basically the predecessor of Halo and Destiny. Destiny actually references Marathon quite a bit. Okay, I didn't know that there was something before Halo, to be honest. Like, my radar for Bungie really just started with Halo. Cool. Alright, so we did get his remembrance. Let's go on back to the Round Table Hold and see what his items are. Only spent like literally already half the stream dealing with one boss in this boss rush encounter. But obviously with the Radagon stuff, it'll go hopefully more smoothly because we'll have like the Mimic and whatnot. Where he is. So the remembrances don't say much if for all the new people in the stream. Like 1.0, they pretty much all just say the same thing, except some of the names are ever so slightly different. So the most differences really just come in the items. So Hoarah's Earthshaker just gives you ground echo. Axe of Godfrey. Weapon of Godfrey, Elden Lord. It was broken in a battle fought as the leader of the Tarnished during the Long March. This weapon is symbolic of Godfrey's vow to conduct himself as a lord, later becoming an emblem of the Golden Lineage. In the days of the past, a crown was warranted with strength. So going back to what I said earlier about Morgott and Godfrey, I guess it does make sense that Morgott wouldn't have known of Godfrey's axe being broken, because the Long March, from what I understand, is when the Tarnished were forced to leave the Elden, or the lands between. So it makes sense that Godfrey has a full axe. So I guess this wasn't necessarily broken off into Sarash's eye, like I liked to imagine. And the skill is Divine Quake. And we should also have the Elden Lord set available for purchase. And I don't know if this is different. Damn it, I was afraid of this. Alright, so going back to the actual retail stuff, let me read it for comparison, because this is something I reference all the time when I talk smack about Placidus Axe's status. Alright. The Age of the Erdtree, Armor of Godfrey the First Elden Lord. The Age of the Erdtree began amongst conflict when Godfrey was lord of the battlefield. He led the war against the giants, faced the Stormlord alone, and then there came a moment when his last worthy enemy fell, and it was then, as the story is told, that the hue of Lord Godfrey's eyes faded. So, as I said at the very beginning, it's described as the armor of Godfrey the First Elden Lord, and this isn't written in hearsay in any way, so to me, in my mind, it's crystal clear that Godfrey must be the first Elden Lord. And I think Placidus Axe's potential status as an Elden Lord is just a misunderstanding of the characters in the universe, because they can't conceive of a world state without an Elden Lord, so they believed that the big honcho before Godfrey and Marika arrived on the scene must have been an Elden Lord, but I think he's probably just like the equivalent in that age. Okay. The Elden Lands. Yep, you got me. Mortis says Marathon was also exclusive to the Mac. Ooh, so it makes sense you haven't heard of it. Okay, that does make more sense. Well, if it was also before Halo's time, I could, yeah. No wonder it was off my radar. You'd mentioned something else about Blasphemous 2. Oh god, your son just cranked the volume to max and you didn't notice that Roar by Godfrey was heard by all your neighbors. Well, now your neighbors know that you're on the route to becoming Elden Lord, I guess. Blasphemous 2 got announced. Okay, that's what it was. The people playing Blasphemous 2... Uh-oh. are saying it's incredibly good exploration and combat-wise. You're hyped? Sweet. Hey, we have enough to actually use a healing spell if we wanted to. Memo Man says, some descriptions do feel like Golden Order propaganda. I understand where you're coming from, but the way that I approach the lore is I will take anything that's written as a factual statement to be like more or less gospel, unless it conflicts with like mechanical things that are just more of a game issue rather than I think like a lore issue. So there are going to be like some things that like, oh, the description doesn't say it that way, gotcha. But yeah, that's just kind of my take on things, with the big caveat of being like translation differences and stuff like that. So with the propaganda stuff, I think some of the issues with that, and I guess I should probably reference this because you might not be as familiar, do tend to come down to differences of translation. Unfortunately, like the astrologer set in this version doesn't say it. It has like a different description. But anyway, the astrologer set says that it is said that... No, the astrologer set's fine, I think. That the astrologers are the descendants of the glintstone sorcerers, and then one of the Carian items, I think it's the Ray Lucarian robes, say that the glintstone sorcerers are descendants of the astrologers, a fact that the Carians remain aware of. So I think FromSoft deliberately uses hearsay to like express the beliefs of the characters in the world at times. Not all the times, but sometimes. And when they do that, it's typically written as hearsay, or like it's considered, or according to legends type text. Oh yeah, I never actually looked at it. Oh man, I forgot. Thank you for bringing that back up, Night Scout, and welcome back to the stream. I totally forgot to look at the depiction of the Elden Ring in Fair Missoula, the thing that I've talked about like 20 million times this playthrough.
Marika,
Oh yeah, this happens.
the Golden Order cannot be restored.
Yeah, for some reason, and I knew this and I kind of forgot about it, is when you come back here in this version of the game specifically, Malekith's death dialogue repeats. So, I'm pretty confident they patched that out, for what it's worth. Fair Missoula could have still had the Elden Ring in its heyday. Godfrey would be the first Elden Lord for Marika's separate government. Right, and so... like, Marika might not have had, like, a goddess relationship to Placidus Axe, although I think that kind of contradicts how, like, Placidus Axe's god fled, or was forced to leave, I guess. That's a little bit ambiguous in Japanese, but I'll talk about that more in just a moment. The god could have been the twin bird, because there's images of it all over Fair Missoula. It's like the ancient histories historians. Sometimes the only source is not very reliable, clearly biased, but it's all we have. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Everything is canon, not everything is true. That's a good way to say it, Scowlies. Yeah, I like that. Assassin's daggers? Which assassin's dagger? Are you talking about the Black Knife assassin one? Yeah, because I try to pay as much attention to the inconsistencies in the text as I can, and then compare languages to see whether or not those inconsistencies are in Japanese as well as English, or if it's just like a potential translation thing. You always thought Placidus Axe was the Stormlord that Godfrey slayed. Everything is canon, not everything is true is a term used in Warhammer 40k's lore. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I've never had 40k, so I never got into Warhammer 40k. Or a spare 40k, I should say. The talismans would say that Godwin was the first demigod to die. Okay, yeah, I know what where you're coming from with that. Yeah, I think you could definitely make a claim for that. And I think like that is something that I try to reconcile by saying like maybe demigod in this context means a specific form of it rather than like the other ones. But yeah, I think that's kind of a fair criticism. Don't get into 40k, all your money and time will disappear. Yeah, my vice back in the day was magic, so I already understand like the cardboard crack stuff. Alright. So going back to this thing, there's a lot to discuss. Obviously, we have a depiction of an Elden Ring above a woman with 3 wolves. As I've mentioned in my Glowmide Queen video, I've wondered whether or not the 3 wolves are supposed to be related to Melina specifically, because when we have our 3 wolf ashes, or the lone wolf ashes spirit summon, we summon 3 lone wolf spirits, right? So what's the connection there? We got these ashes from Ronnie, who says that the spirit calling bell that we use to summon them... Where is this? Is it a consumable? Oh no, here it is. The Wraith calling bell in this version. Ronnie gives us this Wraith calling bell as well as those spirit ashes and says it belonged to Torrent's former master. And considering that Melina accompanies Torrent and bequeaths us the whistle which we use to summon Torrent and Torrent's connection to Melina, it seems like Ronnie could have like known Melina and gave us the spell and the spirit ashes, potentially implying that it belonged to her. Now, that was a little bit more straightforward to talk about before the announcement of the DLC with Mikola potentially riding Torrent. However, with that being said, there is the potential that the quote-unquote Torrent we see on the DLC key art could just be another type of spirit horse that isn't necessarily Torrent itself. So, yeah, there doesn't necessarily only have to be one spirit horse to have ever existed, is kind of what I'm arguing there. So yeah, going back to the Melina stuff, is this depiction of a woman with 3 wolves supposed to kind of be Melina? Now, that could kind of work because we do need to sacrifice Melina to come here, right? In the flames and all that, but it's still a little bit of a stretch, and I just want to like point that out. So, this depiction of the Elden Ring is something we've actually seen before, I would argue. And for those who've been in the previous episodes of the stream, this is something that I often compare to the kinds of cobblestones found on the Great Highway between Langdell and Castle Morn. So if you look at the very center of like where all the rings converge, rather than being a more triangular shape, I would say they're more like a cross or like a plus sign, whatever you want to call it. And there's like a bunch of roots coming out of it, obviously. And this might be meant to coincide with the Rune of Destined Death somehow. Because like the top of the thing also looks like Marika's rune arc, or like the bottom of the rune arc. It's a little bit strange, like the placement of these runes seems like it's completely under the rune arc, and you don't really have a rune arc at the bottom compared to like the Golden Order's Elden Ring. So now that we have some other depictions of the Elden Ring to compare it to, it'll be easier to kind of make this out. You could look at this, but maybe incantations might be a bit better if we can find one. It was an Erdtree one. Okay, Golden Heal. Yeah, it's really tiny. But you can see like the 3 rings, and they're kind of like equidistant from each other. Whereas like the 2 ones here are kind of like spread out. Anyway, I'm going to teleport back on over to the highway real quick to just kind of compare it. Night Scott says, why wouldn't Melina have just kept the bell in the ashes to give to the Tarnished herself? Also, don't the wolves say that their former master was a Tarnished too? Yes. And there's a little bit of ambiguity with the wolf description, which makes it sound like it could be referencing us as the Tarnished. I don't necessarily believe it, but Melina could have also like worked with other Tarnished before us, or maybe even all of the Tarnished, since they all go to the Round Table Hold. But again, that is also doubtful because Varya makes it sound like you need a specific or any maiden to do, and not like Melina specifically. So let's see if we can get a good angle. Hopefully this one will be clear enough. Trying to find a good one. Okay, that one should be good, I think. No, another tile's on top of it. It's annoying. Okay, this one's actually good. So yeah, when we look at this depiction of the Elden Ring, it doesn't actually match the depiction of the current Elden Ring. They're kind of equidistant from each other in a plus sign. So there's a slight difference, obviously, between this symbol and the one in Fair Missoula. It doesn't have like the roots and stuff around it. But my explanation for that is, if we look at the Erdtree incantations, I would say this is kind of like the equivalent of the Fair Missoula sign, and then this is kind of like the equivalent to the cobblestone. Unfortunately, it's very small and you can't make it out super well. So what can I cast? I can do Golden Lightning Fortification. Oh, this is really good to look at. And Beseech Aid. Okay, I'll equip both of these and cast them, so we can get kind of a clearer comparison. It looks like it has the Corruption Rune from Bloodborne. Yeah, a little bit. Night Scott says, the ring arrangement seems similar to what appears on the Phantom War banners at the Wailing Dunes and outside of Lane Dull. So the ones that we were looking at on the cobblestone, so the one around the Wailing Dunes, I do remember like looking at the pre-cam. I think it represents the common depiction of the current Elden Ring. What am I equipping? Okay, Barrier of Gold should be good. And Beseech Aid. We'll see how it all works. Night Scout says, there are finger maidens other than Melina, and Bernal's finger maiden burning herself at the forge. Let Bernal warp to Fair Missoula. Yeah, we also didn't see Bernal in the Round Table Hold, so maybe it's just like the Round Table Hold Tarnished who had Melina? Question mark? Bork Quapsico, welcome in. The symbol and the tiles look like the State of the Erdtree Seal and Dell symbol. So they are different, but I think similar. The Fair Missoula cross arrangement shows up on the Elden Ring depictions that appear on the Phantom. Oh, okay, I read that one. It's more similar to the sun rather than the sun than a tree. The Fair Missoula mural seems to depict the Elden Ring in a sprouting sapling Erdtree compared to the later depictions of the Elden Ring in the grown Erdtree. And I think that's also a possibly fair explanation for things. Does anyone even know of Melina's existence besides maybe Ranni? That's a good question, because like Morgott doesn't reference her in the Thrones, but she's also burned and bodiless, so maybe she had a body at one point. And like I've said before, it might be possible that Melina could be to Marika the same way that Millicent is to Malenia, or something along those lines. So, and it could also be even further that like before Melina or before Marika had Radagon, she might have had a Melina to compare with. So yeah, if you look at the sigil that appears with this one, there's only like 3 large rings, which is probably the thing I should have like emphasized. Well, I guess there's technically 4, but the one is like moved up in the center. And rather than having like an equidistant cross shape of like the little spokes around it, it's a more like a Christian type cross rather than like a plus sign. Like the base is much longer. Alright, so what is our other spell? And then Beseech Aid. So this should show the Ancient Erd Tree. Yeah. So like the cross stuff, or like the spokes kind of look like branches of the left, up, and right sides. And then you have like a stump on the bottom. Over there. So that's kind of what I think is going on between the Farum Azula depiction of the Elden Ring and then this thing right here. So let's go back to Farum Azula to just get that extra bit of a comparison again. To reiterate and drive home no wacky stuff that I'm spouting.
Forgive me. Marika. The Golden Order cannot be restored.
Scaluzzi says, it was Melina that was Placidusax's god that ran away, got it. You know, I haven't thought about it from that perspective, but maybe. I think it just doesn't really work so well with Marika potentially being Melina's mother, but yeah. There is also the question of, like, Marika being Malekith's older sister and, you know, predating him when he was also in Farum Azula, so. Try using the Moog in Morgott Shackle. That's another fair one that I tend to forget about. I'm just going to try to equip it. So this will have the Ancient Erd Tree depiction as well. It's really small though. It'd be nice if we had the free cam to just like pause by frame and whatnot. Stella says, you'd say it's a straight up Celtic cross. Okay. The mural has way more space to work with for artistic reasons. Right, which is kind of why I say it's more like the Barrier of Gold type depiction in the Highway versus the Ancient Erd Tree rune of like Beseech Aid. I think like this is the equivalent of what that is. Scowl Easy says, Marika gave birth or reincarnated her own soul as Melina, which is why she's just a husk. Tapping into that Elder Scrolls cosmology. I do think that's a legitimate possibility. But I also would... Oh, wait, what? How did I warp here then? But, I guess it's night, guys. Because we have the things. Okay. Let's go back to the Elden Throne. It's different from the Ancient Erd Tree depictions? I don't think so. I think it's just smaller. I mean, it's like a more burnished gold. I don't know how to describe it. So for this, we're definitely going to want Holy Resistance. That's lightning. I'll probably need to look at the shackle in the free cam where I can like pause it. But I'm pretty confident it's the same for the most part. Like there might be some like artistic liberties, but I don't think it's like fundamentally different. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Astyanax always held there are multiple ages of the different rings. As you go back in time, you have more rings. Each cycle ends with the ring being shattered and reforged as something lesser in size and power. That might be possible, but I still don't like how Godfrey is called the first Elden Lord. But with the Tarnished being able to create mending runes, I have wondered whether or not each rune that we got came from like a different cosmic or natural force being conquered. And so I've wondered whether or not like Millennia's rune corresponded to the god of the Scarlet Rot being defeated, or somebody else like making that rune into the order. So there's a lot of questions, because although it's said that the Elden Beast and the Elden Ring came from outside the Lands Between, it is just said that they came from outside the Lands Between, and they could have just kind of like sprung up more naturally over time. Maybe the DLC will elucidate a bit more on that front, but that's something that I wouldn't place a ton of stock into. It's just me trying to reiterate just how open-ended everything really is. The Shackle Sigil has branches, just no leaves. Okay, like it's autumn or winter. Okay, that'd be interesting. Okay, I can see what you mean. Alright, time to begin the cutscene for the final bosses. I think that's one of the more badass transitions that FromSoft has come up with. Stone platform, I guess. So we have Marika, who's been crucified by something. That something being like the Elden Beast, most likely, because of its crucifixion-style grab. But with that cutscene, you see Marika with her blonde hair transition into the red, which is super cool and shows that Marika and Radagon truly do have one body to a certain degree. Of course, it's ambiguous as to whether or not they always had one body or they became merged somehow. Maybe when Radagon became Elden Lord. I've wondered whether or not us becoming Elden Lord in some of the endings means like Marika has entered our body and whatnot. So maybe that's why Godfrey had to get Sarash to just like fill the gap where Marika was. But I think that's a huge stretch, and I'm just kind of like spitballing some things right there. And after Marika transitions into Radagon, when her rune arc breaks, we do see Radagon get filled up with the black mist, which eventually spawns the Elden Ring, which is part of him, I guess. So this black mist stuff is more or less like the body of the Elden Beast, or like more of a manifestation of the Elden Ring's powers, I guess. And I've wondered whether or not that's supposed to relate to the kind of black mist which also appears like falling from the skies in the Divine Towers at times. And it'll like mention it in the remembrance and the item itself. The hammer that they wield is half embedded with shards of the Elden Ring. So there's just a lot of questions as to their relationship, Godfrey's relationship, the Elden Beast's relationship. And I thought I was going to go somewhere else with this, but I just kind of like lost my train of thought. You wonder if Radagon and the Elden Beast boss names are in the same in 1.0 if you had the HUD on. Yeah, I'll turn on the HUD in a moment. But just for like the first couple ones, I just wanted to do it without it. Oh yeah, let's go to the Divine Towers so I could just kind of show off what I was talking about. Because I know when I mention like the Black Mist, like most people don't know what I'm talking about. Or they like get surprised. Because it just seems like an atmospheric thing that you're just really not going to pay too much attention to as you come up and down the Divine Towers. So we also have like the meteors and stuff, which just always fascinates me. The OST is so hype. For sure. It's like that moment in an anime where the opening starts playing. It's more like the dualism of Taoist philosophy. Okay, so we do have a little bit of like the white mist, but not so much the black stuff. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it looks like goop coming down right there. So I've wondered whether or not that's supposed to be related to like whatever is in Radagon. Oh wow, it's really thick right here. Oops. So is this like cosmically related to all of like the meteors and stuff here? I don't know. But it's just something I've noticed and it's kind of fascinated me. So I wanted to share that. The Divine Towers have black and white energies that slowly move through the air in the towers. The Elden Beast kind of projects the great beyond to fill its area. You could see the tower as being connected to space and being a conduit to something. Yeah, for sure. If you pick Goldmask's ending, maybe it'll be called the Age of the Absolute. In this version, you mean? He shoots his golden rays and sparks with his black smoke hand stump. Not more towers theories. You thought the thing in Radagon is the beast, that's weird though. When you first saw the goop, you thought it was ghosts. Something about the Divine Tower's reliefs reminds you of brain matter and overall flesh. Interesting. Okay, let's go back over here. Katie, so happy they didn't do a DS3 move and put one of the most hype OSTs of the game, only doesn't actually play in the actual game. Yeah, like the Slave Knight Gale one, or do you have another one in mind? Get Gwyneth Paltrow on the case? What? I'm not following. If you had the power to turn someone else into a sword, you probably would. Settle down there, Light. Bork says there's a clear relationship between light and dark within the Two Fingers and the Greater Will and their incantations. Yeah. Oh, the goop joke. Okay, I'm tracking. Thanks for explaining the joke. It went over my head. So, oh yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention is when we first get teleported into the lands between, I wonder if we were literally in the Erd Tree, because it kind of looks like this cutscene in the background in that spot. Oh yeah, the other important thing, which I totally forgot. So Marika's like stabbed in the center of like where her stomach or uterus maybe would be. I mean, it's a little bit high for that, honestly, but with a red spear that's kind of nondescript, and I've wondered whether or not that's supposed to have been destined death or something adjacent to it. And then it just kind of goes away, and that spear isn't something which shows up with the Elden Beast's grab attack. So it makes me wonder if that's supposed to be part of how she was complicit with the Knight of the Black Knives, or something she used to shatter the Elden Ring. Maybe it's Radagon somehow, like somebody just stabbed her with like a curse to make him. Just really big spitball theories here. Don't take that too seriously. The title screen for DS3? Okay. Radagon of the Golden Order. Though in Japanese, his name has a little bit of a different implication in that while saying Radagon of the Golden Order is fine, I actually want to double check, but I'm pretty sure like the Japanese doesn't use the no particle here. I think they just use like their equivalent of a comma, which I mean to say, it's not Radagon of the Golden Order, it's Radagon Golden Order. So he is like the personification of the Golden Order himself in the Japanese. Oh yeah, this is a good time to check. Oh, I need up. So let's check out those text files real quick. Okay. Yeah, so it's Ogo Nitsu Radagon, which is like Golden Order, comma, Radagon. So it's even clearer that you're fighting the Golden Order when you fight Radagon, which is super cool. And it just doesn't quite come across nearly the same in English, which is pretty unfortunate. Yeah, it kind of reminds you of the crucifixion for sure. Stomach too high for generals. Yeah, Red Spear might be Radagon fused into the spear so as to be a literal thorn in her side. Yeah, it is kind of like indicative of Longinus. So, yeah, I don't know if this is so much a Christian reference as much as it is an Evangelion reference. That is a joke, obviously, hopefully. Pokemon, welcome back in. 1/3 of Radagon's lore is just he has red hair. You're not wrong, really. Oh, you just mentioned the Spear of Longinus and Nian and Eva. Okay. Well, there goes my joke. Fastest comment in the West. You just see that being Destined Death flying back to her after you fight Malekith. Oh, that's an interesting theory. And it's out because the mending ritual has been done to put Destined Death back in the ring. Night Scout says, could it also mean that it's a Golden Order variant of Radagon? I wouldn't say so. Like Radagon Golden Order, like how you say something like Gogeta 1954. That's not how I take it. It seems like it's saying that before Radagon, he is the Golden Order. Del Orden de Oro. Yeah, no, that was the joke, Stella. That if it was an Ava reference, it's a roundabout Jesus reference. So yeah, I like the Radagon fight. Like some parts of it are a little bit unfair with some of his attacks. But for the most part, there's like a lot of actual interplay with it. And not only that, he's just a dude with a kind of normally sized hammer. Like, how many of these do we have in a FromSoft game? Or like most games, like there's an overabundance of swordies, even spear users to a lesser degree, and axe users, but none just like battle hammers or clubs that aren't just like gigantic golem ogre type creatures. No, so it uses the term Golden Order first with Radagon. So it is possible that like Golden Order could be like modifying Radagon, but in some ways, with the comma there, it's kind of meant to be like equivalent. But I think the ordering of putting Golden Order first is supposed to indicate that they're like kind of equal. So they're like, he is Radagon of the Golden Order, but he is the Golden Order. Like, he is the vessel of the Golden Order. Is kind of what I'm trying to get at. Not counting the beast bosses, Godfrey might be the first boss to just use bare hands. I would need to think about that, but you might be right. Yeah, and of course, like, Marika also has a lot of references or parallels to Odin in Norse mythology. Who was also hung from a tree to gain, like, runic wisdom. Would most people's titles be first in Japanese, though? For example, first Elden Lord Godfrey. I mean, it's like English, like, it's flexible to a degree, but with the way that it's written in Japanese, the way that I take it is, like, because it's not using, like, a certain particle, like the no particle. I don't know how familiar you are with Japanese. Because it's not Ogon Nitsu no Radagon. It makes it, like, they're creating, like, they're emphasizing, like, a distance between the Golden Order and Radagon to a degree that kind of makes them more equivalent in my mind. And, you know, some people might, like, disagree with that, but that's just kind of more like a literary disagreement than I think like a linguistic one, if that disagreement is there to be made. Oh yeah, so in his fight, he can also use these attacks which kind of spawn his Elden Rune, which are like the little lattice designs that you can see from time to time. You could also see it in like Litany of Proper Death. So yeah, compared to Godfrey, he's a lot more aggro. I think they cleaned up those like round animations though. Like it doesn't look as distinct here than I think it does in retail, but that might just be me misremembering it or not getting into like a further enough phase to get like what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't think they're like counting like the big boys or like the fisticuff type bosses. In Wave of Gold. Do you see that Wave of Gold? Maybe. Well, I guess that'd be the Sacred Relic Sword, so yeah, that could track. Katie says the Yggdrasil is the gallows of Odin, so it would make sense that the Erd Tree is supposed to be the cross of Marika. Oh, yeah. And so, one other big thing that I did want to bring up would be, and this is going to be very contentious, and I don't like fully believe it myself, but if Malekith defeated the Gloam-Eyed Queen and sealed her and or destined death away, I've wondered whether or not, with Marika's potential of being the Gloam-Eyed Queen, it could be a reference to her being sealed into the Erd Tree. And of course, like the questions arise of like when that happens, especially with her shattering the Elden Ring, but she also betrayed him. So was she sealing herself up and like breaking out? Is that an act of betrayal? Like there's so many questions about her perceived betrayal to Malekith himself. So once the Rune of Death gets unbound and the Erd Tree gets burned, is that releasing part of the seal on Marika? Maybe. I don't think I explained that as well as I would have liked, to be honest, but hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm laying down there. It's weird that it says stone platform and not Erd Tree stump or something. Like the real tree petrified long ago, and we only see the spirit projection on the golden tree. Once he's defeated and the runes are added back in, there's no need for a sigil, as those runes can be pieced back into the Great Runes. Alright. Pokemon said something, and I want to read that. And then, yeah, okay. Let's get God again. I'll catch up with you guys on chat, and then I'll like try to fight him for real. It always bothered you how Radagon's icon specifies he studied sorcery to complement his knowledge of incantations, but his knowledge of sorcery is never referenced again, even in the boss fight. So, I understand where you're coming from, but I think for trying to understand the Golden Order incantations, they should be perhaps considered half incantation, half sorcery. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at the actual incants themselves, compared to the Erd Tree ones, which scale purely on faith, the Golden Order incantations scale on both intelligence and faith. So they're like half sorcery, half incantation, with like the weird exception of like the law of regression and causality, which are purely intelligence based scaling incantations. He was just finessing Granola. The current Erd tree is real and alive. Once Malekith is beaten, you can see large swathes of exposed brown bark on the trunk and branches. Even before that, you can kind of see like this section of the Erd tree is different from the rest of it. Like this little hollow, I guess. Erd tree was an inside stump. You feel like Radagon abandoned sorcery when he offered validation from the Golden Order, and that might be a good read on it too. Alright, so I'm going to try to focus up on this fight. I'll try to like solo Radagon once completely, and then I will transition to cheating with the Mimic. Yggdrasil literally means horse of the terrifying one, but the meaning that it's going for its gallows of Odin, since Ygr, the terrifying, is an epithet for Odin, and horse is a metaphor. Fun fact. How is the horse a metaphor? Because he's like running for it? Okay. Anyway. Here we go. Well, I whipped that attack. Maybe I just need to jump that attack. Oh. I thought that was the big stomp that kept getting me. I should have known better than that. My poor rolls. They just take so long to come out sometimes. Yeah, this section of the Erd tree kind of is always revealed, like right here. The Norse loved epithets just like the Greeks. Oh, Odin rides the tree as one rides the horse, just in the dead hangman sense. Okay, thank you. The thorns seem added later by Radagon. I agree. So he's the fear rider? Oh, because he rides death. Well, he's dead. Okay. I can see where you're coming from with that. Marika's an actual founder of the Golden Order fundamentalism too, as per Melina quoting Marika's creation of it at the Minor Erd Tree Church. I don't know if that's like the actual creation of it, but with Marika being Radagon, it definitely throws a wrench into like interpreting those kinds of things. I thought that was the end of his combo. I tried jumping, but it just buffered the roll. I don't know if the jump would have saved me, because that move has hit me consistently in the dodge. Although maybe I just need to like time my dodges better. Marika and Radagon seem like split personalities. Like Marika created Radagon, sent him out to Liurnia, called him back, and later tried to reassimilate him. I'd be more keen to believe that if I didn't see them transition so freely in this cutscene here. Odin has a long list of names. I rolled too soon. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Double damn it. Okay, it's probably too close to avoid that one. Like, I just got hit by his actual hammer. I panic rolled too much. I should probably pull the shield back out and just start trying to parry him. I'm dead. Okay. Odin has a long list of names. There's somewhere it's like, is this a different god or is it Odin? We don't know enough to... We don't know not enough stuff survives. That's unfortunate. And do I actually have a truly decent shield? I guess this... Words are holy, 45. Yeah, I'm not going to be using a great shield to parry. Parry and retaliation. I don't know exactly how that works. Like, does it still count as a regular parry, or is it just like spells and stuff? Let's find out. The Marika is Radagon reveal would hit a lot harder if they actually had more lore. It hit me pretty hard, because I was like, damn it, I was trying to keep track of all this stuff, and it just kind of like made me have to rethink a lot of things. But I do agree with what you're saying, though. Night Scout said, that's after the reassimilation. Before that, Marika and Radagon probably had to exist in two separate places to run each nation at their own wedding in Leyndell, etc. I mean, I think it's debatable, to be honest. Hoarah Loux, clearly all muscle. Radagon is a mirror champion. He really elevated his might through his Golden Order studies. He's formidable foe as every hit channels Golden Lightning. Goldbreaker was already Radagon's signature attack in the Liurnian War, so Hoarah Loux is probably greater even with Radagon's runic arts. Another proposed etymology for Yggdrasil is yew tree. I thought it was ash. The way he turns when you're in his eyeless blind spot's cool. He can magic parry at my magic parry? Well, not if I magic parry his magic parry to my magic parry. Tyler parry. I should try to gank him. Oh yeah, I would need to dual hand stomp, which is fine. So I did that too early. I don't think that'll work, but just kind of testing things. That was too slow. I couldn't roll, and then I got hit. Okay, that was obviously me rolling too slowly, but... Man, sometimes the inputs of this game are just really frustrating. Like, me dying at the end there, that was 100% me, but, like, the roll not coming out is just... I have no idea. Most descriptions call it an ash tree, but mythologies aren't exactly known for being consistent. Fair enough. Was Hoarfrost not mainly just to speed through the Godfrey Hoarah loop fight and take your time with this one? Yeah. Well, I can't bleed him. Oh, I'm heavy rolling. That might be part of it. I should have been fine before, though. Like, I'll just end up using the Mimic Ash at some point. But I just enjoy these fights, so I can kind of just, Hey! I dodged it. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, wow, I can continue to roll. I guess I had to, like, debuffer that one. I'm gonna get got by that. Okay. It didn't flask me up. Well, at least he didn't, like, continue to punish me right then. What? Oh, man, that sucks. That one I need to parry. Okay. Uh-oh. I forgot how many attacks he had. So I don't think I could jump that last part. So I think I just need to like roll straight to the side or something? Or just iframe it? Uh-oh. Okay. I'm relearning his patterns. Old Norse word for ash tree is asker? Oscar? Did they ever drink from the ash tree? I can't put Hoarfrost Stomp on the Ant Rapier. It's a unique weapon. Do we know where Radagon and Marika were during the Lyurian Wars? You're a bit off with that lore. So that's a really good question, and the answer is no. No, we don't. I almost said Norse. The answer is Norse. With those wars, I think Vi mentioned that the word for war in Japanese there isn't actually war. It's more like a military campaign. And I looked into it because, like, the definition just said, oh, it means war. And then the Wikipedia page is a little bit more detailed. And it said, like, no, it's part of an extended military campaign. So the Lyurian War wasn't necessarily two wars. It was, like, one war with two campaigns. Which means, like, in more relevant real-world terms, if you think of, like, conducting war, it's typically done not in summer and winter where the weather's bad for war. So you'd have, like, a spring campaign and a fall campaign or something along those lines. So there was a kind of stalemate in the wars over there for some reason. And then does Radagon show up on the first one or the second one? And is that when he meets Renala? We don't know. It's really annoying. Damn it. Fly swats me. I rolled way too soon. Oh no. Okay. That was totally me. Also talking a bit. It's all good. What if the Elden Beast possessed Radagon to curtail Marika's rebellion, thus the Elden Beast fight being a second phase as a reveal of Radagon's true turn of fate? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know, to be honest. Can't really say too much about it. Yeah, I don't necessarily think Marika had to be left behind in Lane-Del to run things. No, KD, it's a unique weapon, the Antspur Rapier. Because it has intrinsic rot, it can't be given an Ash of War. We looked on the other stream. Did I just break his AI? Oh my god, I don't want to... I'm not going to win that way. Wait, it's because I was like walking into him. Finally dodged it. Oh man, now my roll didn't go. My flask didn't go. Nothing's going my way. That was me. That was me. Okay. I would blame the camera, but honestly, I should have had better positioning than that. Not gonna blame the camera on that one. He joined the hero's ranks, so he fought as a combatant. It's just a little bit weird that there's two campaigns, is what I mean with the Liurnian Wars. And keep in mind, like, Godfrey should have still existed during this time. So, like, the Liurnian Wars are just very strange to me in general. In retail, it can be infused? What? Did they change that? I'll double check. But also, like, my Antspur Rapier isn't leveled up, and I don't have any runes right now. Okay. That's kind of garbage. And that's annoying. Oh god. Just straight up terrible RNG for me. That, the range on that. Okay, that was my fault. I should have kept dodging. No, I don't think Godfrey would have fought in the Liurnian Wars. My point is, like, Godfrey wasn't... He was still in the lands between at that time, so he, like, skipped over Liurnia in their campaign to conquer the lands between. And so much so that, like, they had enough time for 2 military campaigns before Godfrey was hounded from the lands between. It's just very odd. You wonder if they were waged as a test run for Radagon? Yeah... That's a good possibility, because Muriel says it was over, like, territorial aggressions. Oh yeah, guard parries. Because I'm using a shield, or guard counters, rather. Man, it is... Okay. That was a little bit awkward. Not gonna blame... That's annoying, though. Okay, that's a real sigil right there. That's the one. Oh, I'm silly. Should have realized that there's an exploding spear next to me. I'm gonna get hit. That's annoying. That one is so annoying. Okay. Cool. So that's his Elden Ring. The lattice stuff. Alright, let me fight better, and then I will summon the Mimic here. Because I'm getting my ass kicked. Just because, I mean, this... Well, I do like the Radagon fight, it's just there's not a lot of downtime to actually heal appropriately without just prolonging the fight. So it just kind of funnels people into using summons, which is fine. I mean, that's what they're there for. I like the mano-a-mano style of combat. Oh yeah, and then that stuff keeps hitting. I should have remembered that. Fudge. Okay, so that's the one I need to try to parry. Oh, there's like little pieces of glintstone / runes that come out of you with that attack. I tried rolling. I tried rolling again. Okay. Ugh. I suck. I definitely need Hoarah Stomp to carry me, apparently. Nah. He makes faith builds look impressive. You wish FromSoft had given us just a few more hints at either the lore's timeline or the motivations of powerful characters and entities. Yeah. To be fair, though, they've always been kind of really obtuse about that stuff. Oh, okay. But, man, I tried rolling. That was me being a little bit slow, I guess. That one always sucks, though. Oh, man, my flask. This is so annoying, though. Ugh. Ditch the shield, maybe. Yeah, I was trying to see if we could parry some more of his stuff. I just need to get used to it. I mean, I'll probably ditch it in a little bit. I just thought we could carry in retaliation some of his spells, but it doesn't really look like we can. Miyazaki making bleed the strongest status in the game, with which you can choose the entire game and then makes the final boss immune, might have been his greatest troll to date yet. I fell for it again. I should just parry more often, right? That's the real trick. Oh, come on, man. I still would have gotten clipped by the spell, but nonetheless, just the absolute frustration of the inputs not coming through is really something. I'm doing fine. I'm not actively reading chat while I fight when I'm paying, like when I'm really trying to fight. This one, I don't know, like why he just doesn't give a lot of a downtime between his attacks, so it becomes really critical to get the inputs off, and they're just not coming. And I do think they probably fixed some of this, because I don't remember really ever having this much of an issue against Radagon, except when I play, or in general, except for when I play 1.0. But it's also been a while since I played retail, so I might just be like huffing copium real hard right now. That one was me. I should have rolled, but I didn't. Okay, I rolled way too soon. I tried to Horror Frost him up right there. Not gonna lie. I think I was out of stamina. I'm surprised that one didn't work. Okay. That was my fault. I thought I was gonna get got beforehand, and then just panic rolled. Hey, user Vi, welcome back to the stream. Radagon's trip to Liurnia seems to be a logical continuation of Marika's echo, where she says she wants to explore the depths of the Golden Order and get rid of blind faith. Radagon's education at the academy that led to that fact, or led to the fact that fundamentalism became a scholarship in all but name, and their incantation starting using intelligence and faith. No, it doesn't seem I can parry his spells. So yeah, Marika may have become Radagon specifically so she could study incantations like discreetly. So it could have been like Marika was Marika in the first campaign to Liurnia. Then she saw Renala, and then she could have like mega-minded it by transforming to get into Renala's good graces so she could steal her sorceries, so that way she could better understand grace. But setting aside like the mega-mind idea, it's kind of interesting that Marika thought the sorceries could reveal more about grace in general. I'm too close. Okay. Okay, I thought he was really close to getting stance broken. Took a little bit of a risky attempt there. Okay. I need to be further away when he's trying to do that. No, don't instant transmission me. Damn it. I can parry that one, can't I? Fudge. Oh, I probably would have died to the direct hit. Oh my god. Okay, I was trying to drink right then, but it didn't go. You cheating. Well, that was risky. I'm gonna die. So the cool thing is the rune arc appears above him on that attack specifically. There's also like a pseudo Elden Ring symbol on the bottom. Damn it, I rolled way too soon. Oh my god. I thought that was going to be the stance break. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Alright, guys. I should have done the Mimic before I did that. Okay, so that was a decent amount of health. Alright, now I will summon the Mimic with impunity that I've 1v1'd Radagon of Del Golden Order. Do you think Renala had any idea Marika was Radagon? I don't really know. Like, the game seems like she shouldn't, but I also don't want to think she was that naive, although I guess, like, love can be blinding. The GG roll credits. Oh, right. Giant space flea from nowhere. I should stop talking. This is the first time. So he normally starts off with a fire attack. Nebula, and he's targeting me, not the Mimic. Man, not that one. Okay, he's targeting the Mimic. Part of the reason I don't like that one is because he can usually follow it up with his sword, and it's just kind of hard to see. And from that one, you get kind of like an inverse litany of proper death. I think that was my last heal. So yeah, the Elden Beast comes out of the Elden Ring within Radagon. It is like the black mist type substance within him, it seems. Damn it. And one of the things that I really enjoy about the Elden Beast's design is it has a gigantic gash in its stomach, similar to the one that Marika has. So does that mean... Actually, now that I think about it... Uh-oh. I wonder if the gash on Marika is from somebody else trying to kill the Elden Beast. Maybe she took the rune out with the intention of killing the Elden Beast. I mean, that could have potentially go along with the Finger Slayer blade and everything. So we get the Elden Rune attack. This is so beautiful. Oh, but it's targeting the Mimic. Okay. The way you avoid that one is by jumping over it, which is really unintuitive. Okay, I died for that. Was this music used in Dark Souls? No. Sounds like Gwendolyn's theme. That one's a bit different. Like the Gwendolyn theme one is a bit more like ethereal, I think. If you could describe it some way. Right, let me take off a lot of the spells to not confuse the Mimic. You see Jade? Now, I guess I could have been buffing up more. Flame grant me strength. Do I have that? No. Protect me. You all know how stubborn I am. Self-inflicted? Maybe that's why she was bound. Maybe. Yeah. The Moonlight Butterfly theme, that is also Gwendolyn's theme. You guys probably said it at about the same time. You always thought it was from Marika shattering the Elden Ring, and that could be another good reason for it, because it seems like the Elden Ring is in her if she's the vessel for it, so it would make sense that she would need to damage herself to shatter it, perhaps? He really doesn't like it when you get too close to him. Damn it. Mimic! Thanks, buddy. Oh. Two tiers, one attack. The Rune Arc. Stop. Hey, we cheesed it. Okay, I was gonna try to use the turtleneck beforehand. GoldenOrder.exe stopped working. Oh yeah. So the mist falls out of him, the ring kind of disappears, and then we get the Elden Beast grabbing Radagon and sinking him into the mist, only to pull out the Sacred Relic Sword, implying that Radagon becomes the sword. The design of the sword is somewhat like a helix, kind of like the Godslayer Greatsword. So they might be kind of related, might be meant to represent the life within it. And the cosmos seems to come out of the Elden Beast. And this kind of liminal space appears where it gets connected to many other golden tree stumps. I've wondered whether or not this arena is kind of supposed to be similar to where you can go and knock on the ancestral spirit woods. To the left, there's like a bunch of stumps down there in a lake that kind of reminds me of this. But it's probably just a coincidence more than anything. So that's the wound that I was talking about. So like whenever you hit him, it will glow. And he doesn't actually get frosted or bleed. So he's a little bit difficult to just attack like this. Or to deal a lot of damage to him, I mean. At once with this kind of build. Okay, so he's going to do the Elden Ring attack. Meaning he's going to like go on the opposite side of where he initiated it from. So we jump over these. And now he's over here. Oh, that was the flame one. I should have run further behind him. It took me a second to realize. That was my good chance to punish him and it went away. Yeah, because of the way he can use Wave of Gold right there, that's one of the reasons why I don't like him when he does that one attack. Because sometimes you can't always see him through the particles and everything in the sky. God. And that's almost like a Estelle explosion, so there is a little bit of an overlap between these kinds of bosses, thematically, not like literally. Ugh. Time to regain the stam. Okay, at least he's Nebula-ing. Oh, that was not the attack I was expecting. Good job, Mimic. Now he's gonna flee or something. No, 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 Elden Stars. Right? Oh, no, no, no. My one chance to do damage and I whiffed it. And then he's just actually hard to hit, like from the angles. Yep. Oh, man. Couldn't tell what attack he was doing. I wish the FOV was further out. Because I was afraid he was doing the big explosion. But I would have just been fine if I full-on ran away. In short, Radagon is the Golden Order's weapon from start to finish. Potentially. The perfect boss to allow Torrent to be summoned, and yet it's not an option. Feels bad, man. Agreed, Pokemon. Elden Beast, best final boss? I would hard disagree. I think Gale, if you want to count him, is by far the best final boss. Vi says, it also seemed interesting to them that when fundamentalism became scholarship, the seal of the Erdtree was replaced by the seal of the Golden Order, where the Erdtree ceased to be the central symbol. In addition, under Radagon, the practice of ritual combat held to honor the Erdtree had died out. True story. Uh-oh. That's not the one I'm going to try it on. Mimic! Thank you. Uh-oh. He's angry at me! Okay. I like how his aggro switched mid-attack. Oh, it was way too early. Mimic. Mimic. Fudge. Okay. I could have just, like, tried to force heal, but I didn't want to take the damage. Or, you know, I could have just dodged better. Yeah, so going back to Vi's comments, with the way that the Golden Order fundamentalism supplanted that of the Erdtree, that's kind of when I think the Age of Plenty came to an end, because it's coming to its natural end, forcing Marika to look for alternative solutions to keep the Age of Life going. So it makes sense that that kind of symbolism changed. Oh no, I didn't get up to him fast enough. Okay. This is gonna be rough. Oh no, I'm stuck. Oh, I don't have enough HP to summon it. Oops. I deserve that. Okay. Does Radagon bleed red blood or white? Neither. He's just a stone boy. He doesn't have blood. Memo Man says even the Erd tree died out. True. It's implied by Var that only some are able to see the golden tree. I don't think that. I think he's talking about Grace. Can he not have been a mimic all the time? It's hard to say. Like, I think he's more akin to Melina than a mimic. Although I do wish that they did keep the Simi quest in. He's like, you're not the only one who can stomp. Oh, I was lucky. Stay right there. Sweet. Okay, not enough for a prawn. Why is Radagon's seal the one that prevents us to enter the academy? I think his seal was gained from his study at the academy. So I think the academy seal came first, and he based his incantations off of that. Vi says, considering that Marika at one time began the Age of the Erd Tree, Radagon's new vision of the Golden Order could be the source of their conflict. Could you elaborate on what you mean by the source of their conflict? So he should be doing the breath. Oh, we got the crucifix attack! Oh my god! I didn't know he could do it at this high HP. It did no damage! It did no damage, everyone! I wasn't going to try to bait that out. Like, I literally took like 3 hours or whatnot one day trying to get footage of it. Oh no, this is the Elden Ring attack. Oh, that did no damage going through me. Okay. Uh-oh. Run, 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 run. We got a little bit lucky there. Okay, Mimic, doing its job. Oh, that was aimed at me. And that last one's delayed. I fought him enough to remember at least one attack. Oh, it splits up? I didn't even realize. Stop. Fudge. Run, 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 run. Okay, just the mimic. She should be doing an Elden Ring attack. Hey, I called it. I never realized it like did kind of a circle around them. Beautiful. heal. Okay, so the music faded a little bit on that one. Interesting. So this might be the run, everyone. Maybe. Unless we get one shot by that stupid attack again. He's gonna slam it? It's not even me hitting him, it's the mimic at this point. Okay, here we go. Come on, mimic, do your job. Hit him while I got him distracted. No, not the flames. God slain. Elden Remembrance. Oh, that was super fast. It's unfortunate that you don't really get more time to go look at that kind of arena. I've got some kind of cool footage of it spliced into my gold and silver video, where if you like look up into the sky down there, it just looks like a starry constellation, kinda. I sounded like a WWE commentator when he did the attack. No more streams. So, Spoonbender, we will be doing a little bit of Demon Souls, probably on Monday. I'll make more of an announcement about it. And then I'll also probably look at some other content creators' lore videos. Thanks for the GGs. You still find it goofy how someone designed this majestic cosmic monster as a final boss, but then decided to give it a giant sword just to smack the player with it? No more company in the mornings. Well, thank you all for joining me. We're not ending quite yet. I'm going to go to the roundtable hold and check out the Remembrance and its associated items. And then I think we're going to purge the Frenzy Flame so that way I can complain about how it literally affects nothing. We don't get to see Melina again. Okay, Clown, understandable. Yeah, I like to keep myself blind for those myself. So, yeah, nonetheless, I still appreciate you coming to all these streams. The sword is probably to show that the Elden Beast is intelligent and not like a monkey. That's a good point. He should split his two smaller beastlings upon defeat. Alright, so... Oops. Elden Remembrance, a rune tinged with power. Rune belonging to Marika, one of the runes of power. So that's a little bit different. Stone hammer made in the lands of the Newman, outside the lands between. The tool with which Queen Marika shattered the Elden Ring and Radagon attempted to repair it. The hammer partially broke upon shattering the ring, becoming splintered with runes, which is exactly what you see throughout their fight. And this is how we know that Marika and Radagon have split personalities in that their goals aren't completely aligned. So with me saying like Marika may have created Radagon so she could learn the incantations, it is questionable how much of her is herself and how much of Radagon is himself. And obviously with the Elden Beast kind of coming out of Radagon, there may be more to it that can be explored in future content. And Sacred Impact is the skill. And Sacred Relic Sword. Sword wrought from the remains of a god who should have lived a life eternal. Opinions on what the weapon portends are many and varied. Some consider it the mark of a great sin or a sign of great devastation. Some think of it as the end of an age, while others the beginning. And the skill is Golden Flame here. Attacks in a wide sweeping motion with the power of Golden Order. So yeah, looking back, I think we did get stabbed with something the same way that Marika was stabbed. So maybe it was the Elden Beast that stabbed her after all with the crucifixion. But I guess he also stabbed you with like 1,000 things. Hey Saturn, thanks and welcome back to the stream. Any guesses about the DLC for the Lands of the Newman? Well, that's an interesting idea about the Lands of the Newman. I'm expecting us to get grabbed by a hand that comes out of a painting that takes us into the past, where we meet Patches, who forgets us, and we have to fight a baby in an ocean. I don't know, that's just this quick summary of pretty much like all their DLCs minus the Dark Souls 2 ones, I guess. In a pyramid undersea, over a lake of lava that you need chains to cross. That's frozen or something. About the conflict, Marika, before expelling Godfrey, told him that he must become stronger, return, and give her back what she once claimed. It is likely that the new fundamentalism was not in her interests, and she wanted to bring back the old Golden Order based on faith in the Erdtree as a central symbol. Okay, so yeah, that's another thing to like bring back up. Like, did Marika fully mastermind Radagon taking control of her? And she knew she'd need the Tarnished to come back to finish what she originally set out to do? It's just all a little bit out there. So I really, really wish we knew more about the characters' motivations for everything. The minor Erdtrees at the minor Erdtree Church are also beginning to glow, so a glowing Erdtree can be real. That's also a good point. So we've got the... Oh, it's called a Spectre Wood? Oh no, this is just the forest around it, I guess. Huh. They changed that, I'm pretty sure. The DLC gives Patches hair. I never buy it. He marries a cleric. Or he gets kicked into a ditch by a cleric. Yeah, so this one glows for some reason. I wish there was more about this, because it's very different from the other types of illusory trees. Fractured Marika on the stone platform. Maybe Radagon was trying to carefully repair the ring first for some reason, and then Marika tried helping out but ended up just breaking it by accident. Oh, yeah, no. I wanted to purge. That kind of sounds gross out of context, doesn't it? Melina quotes Marika herself creating the new fundamentalism, so you don't think that's the case. You think Marika became bitter about the system and wanted ways to remove or kill the Elden Beast. Wait. We could just teleport directly in there. For some reason, the golden seed trees are called phantom, yet if you attack them, they're solid, make wood sounds, and normal wood chips fly off. I'll need to do that. I don't think I ever tried to attack one of the phantom trees. The minor Erdtrees at the minor Erdtree Church appear to be wood and alive without a doubt. Yeah. Right, so one of the funny things about coming into the Storm Beyond Time is after you burn the Erdtree, you can still get the cinders from the Erdtree. So it is a little bit questionable whether or not that's intentional or dev oversight, or whether or not the Erdtree really does have influence even here. So take it that way you will. Now, we did do the Millicent stuff quite a long time ago. I thought about purging the flame, but I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll show off the Melina ending. But no, I think it's a little bit more poignant to show that you can spare Melina from sacrificing herself to the Erdtree. Then you can suppress the Frenzied Flame fate. So we get the Mikola sigil, the Halig Tree sigil. The Frenzied Flame goes away. And now we can go do just a random ending. can I show off the disc at the center of this arena? The Placidus Axe one? Yeah, such an important event and no cutscene. So, yeah, you could even do this while Placidus Axe is still here, so I don't know if it's Placidus Axe himself. Okay. Do you want me to, like, go out further to, like, where the beast dudes are, or just, like, the actual ruins? So, we've seen, like, these symbols on the walls in Fair Missoula, although maybe I should, like, compare the crumbling ruins around Limgrave to some of the stuff in Fair Missoula, because that's where this comes from, or where they come from. Pokemon unironically loses interest finishing their playthroughs before burning the Erdtree because you really hate the permanently glowing ember particles in every overworld area. I feel that. Like, when I go looking for footage, I just load up a save that I have where I've gone through everything before the Melina cutscene. Oh, yeah, it's all good, Foster. I don't mind looking at this stuff. Still riding the high of beating the Elden Beast in much fewer attempts than it took to just mano-a-mano Radagon and Godfrey. Right. So, chat, what ending should we go for? Because we're never going to see Melina again. Ever. Not even in the DLC. That's the one thing the DLC can't do. Give us closure about her. So we've got the Ranni ending, and we have all of the other ones except for Dung Eater. On the wall surrounding this arena, there's an interesting repeating mural of sprouting plants and beastmen that seem to be becoming the Wormface enemies. I don't think they're Wormfaces. I've seen it. They're in other places as well. I talked about that when we did the Fair Missoula stream. I've just said it. Just said what? That's the one we cannot do. The Dung Eater ending is he was a sad boy. All right, so that's 2 votes for Gold Mask. 3. You don't need to cave to peer pressure, Clowny, if that's not what you want to do. No, we looked at it on stream. I would disagree that they're worm faces. Duskborn. Okay. So yeah, it's unfortunate that like on the PS5 that save stating is a pain in the butt. Otherwise I would just like show all of them off. But one thing to take note of here, I think, before we do any of these endings is the walls of the Erdtree here are all like brown and whatnot on the inside. Obviously it looks like a tree. But depending on what ending you do, the Erdtree's interior glows or it doesn't. So with gold masks, it will be a kind of golden glowing color on the inside when we first do it. Give us the same reaction of disappointment as when I first played. Well, I was using save states, so I chose the Duskborn ending, and I was like, okay, interesting, I have no idea what that means. I wonder what the other ones are. So I reloaded the save, and then I think I might have done... I don't remember what I did after that. But maybe it was Ranni. Yeah, I think I did Gold Mask, or not Gold Mask, Fia, then Ranni, then Gold Mask. And then once I did Gold Masks, I was like, oh, okay. Then I did Dung Eaters. I was like, okay. Then Fractured Marika. Okay. And then, yeah. It was a very lackluster. Or maybe I did... whenever, but I did do the Frenzied Flame, and I was like, you know what? This one makes sense to me, because the other ones are kind of garbage. Alright, here we go. The Mending Rune of Perfect Order. So we get the old depiction of the Elden Ring and a larger rune surrounding it. So obviously like Radagon's lattice structure is gone, and that you can kind of see that appear when he does his one attack. It has like a full-on circle, which kind of makes sense. And so the interior of the Erd Tree glowed right there. That doesn't appear in every ending. I don't think it appears in Duskborn.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord in our home across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall the age of order.
So yeah, even the Erd Tree's like inner bark was glowing gold, just not quite as brightly as the outer trees. Oh, that was weird. Okay. A world created by Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. No gods, no kings, only man. So that's it. That is the 1.0 playthrough of Elden Ring. So, for everybody who's joined in throughout the playthrough, or just now joining, thank you once again for watching. I appreciate it very much. So that pretty much concludes this playthrough, and we will show off that beginning cutscene again for like when we wake up into the lands between, because I do think it kind of resembles us starting off in the Erd Tree, and I just kind of like want to show that off, and also just like let the credits roll, because all these people worked so hard to make the game for us. So yeah. Hey Soulanthropist, welcome back to the stream. Maybe the credits themselves will be different, such as in character names when it lists who voiced them. Yeah, I haven't compared that. Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you all for watching and commenting. So, this is obviously the Godskin ending, since this is the music that's playing. After Gold Mask. Gold Mask? Godskin? No medley, just Godskin Apostle. We wonder if this is just a filler track or if there was greater purpose. Probably just a filler track. Because they didn't even have like any of the night themes until like a couple months after release. Special thanks, George R.R. Martin and Vince Gerardis for writer and producer. Final thoughts on what I think will happen in the DLC to finish up the story. Hopefully, I don't really have like too many thoughts. I'm always just kind of like in a state of don't expect it to be real until after it comes out. So, alright Spoonbender, thank you for joining. You take care. You just realized that New Game Plus is just the player being stuck in a time loop? Alright, so yes, we will be streaming a little bit of Demon Souls, maybe 1 or 2 streams starting next week, and I will also do more to figure out like how to make it a good watching experience for looking at other content creator stuff. So if you guys actually have suggestions for videos for me to watch, you can go ahead and join the Discord or like leave a comment on this video directly, and then I will try to take them in consideration. I'm trying to only really watch other people's stuff that I know that I have the okay for, so far it's really just the people in the Roundtable Hold, our group of content creator friends, and I'll probably not look at like Vati or Tarnished Archaeologist stuff or any other like super big names like Hawkshaw unless I get explicit permission from them. So that might take a while because I haven't like reached out to any of them yet either. So time will tell. But either way, if you guys do want me to look at a specific video, I will try to watch that on stream with you guys and give my thoughts as we go through it. And with that said, I also like want to be able to pull up item descriptions and show that off with chat at the same time, so that way we can compare things directly. You think the Godskin theme sounds subtly different? I couldn't tell you. You don't think this prolonged part is in the final game, but it might be the song being artificially looped in a very small sliver to pad the credits. I feel like the song probably would have been looped for combat, so they could kind of come to a natural conclusion or continuation. It's amazing how they had so many localizers for a game that was written in English first. Obviously these are like the Brazilian and Latin, American, Spanish ones, but a stream or video analyzing item descriptions would be cool. Celadon, that's kind of like this entire stream. You think the audio might be doubling over itself? It might be. Yeah, because now it sounds like out of sync. The cacophony. The one video showcasing the original intention of the Divine Towers with the Crucible Knights and the Cataclysmic Events. You're gonna need to give me like the title of the video, because like I've said before, I really haven't watched hardly anything about Elden Ring. I've seen like maybe a handful of videos, mostly from people in the Roundtable Hold. And a couple of the Tarnished Archaeologist videos, because people were talking about it in my Discord, and I just wanted to be able to follow the conversation. It might have been a Zoli the Witch or Sekiro Doobie video. Okay. Okay. Sekiro Doobie has already given me permission to look at stuff. Okay, so we could definitely watch that one. Celadon, you mentioned appreciating me stopping for item descriptions before, but you meant like a video tying them together to explain the lore. So I have a couple videos on my channel where I do that, but not a ton. Have you watched them? If not, I would recommend checking those out if you want a more guided tour of item descriptions and stuff. I think there's a medley instead of just Godric theme in the retail. So begin Journey 2 in this world. If you do not start over now, you can start Journey 2 later at the Table of Lost Grace and then Round Table Hold. So maybe I should save this one or not. I don't know. Oh well, let's just go for it. So we should start off with the opening cutscene again with us in potentially the Erd Tree and whatnot.
The fallen leaves.
Okay, Celadon, hopefully you enjoy them.
Story.
Appreciate you dropping through and watching the videos then. Oh, nothing happens in the Erd Tree after we mend the ring, unfortunately.
Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between.
I really like the reach of the Erd Tree branches in this painting. Like, it looks way bigger, almost like a meteor is falling down in the sky.
Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint.
You think energy is shooting off the Erd Tree in that painting from the Elden Ring being shattered? You can actually see the real branches in the painting.
Triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment. By
It is really
Greater
weird that, like, the story trailer isn't in the game at all. It would have been nice if they just showed it after the main title screen, if you, like, didn't input anything.
Now, ye tarnished, ye dead, who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all.
So if you look to the left between Sirash and Hoarah, you can see the little grace between them. Sirash looks corporeal there. Goldmask is looking at the ancient Erd Tree symbol here.
Fear, the deathbed companion. The loathsome
And then Dung Eater's grace is right in front of him.
and
Gideon Ofnir is surrounded by, like, imp looking like things, but they're a little bit different.
all-knowing.
Surrounding the sarcophagus, that is. I didn't press anything. Okay. Here we go. And I wondered whether or not this right here is, like, within the Erd Tree. Like the stone
One other
platform.
whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring.
And, like, the Erd Tree is opening up or something. But it could just be coincidence.
The Elden Lord.
Night Scott says they might not have chosen to use the story trailer since it could imply that Ronnie would be the narrator character and the first to meet every single Tarnished. Like, the game begins with a Tarnished encountering Ronnie at the Church of Ella. Chomsky, welcome to the stream. You haven't played Elden Ring in like a year. Is there any DLC coming anytime soon? So that's a good question because nobody knows the answer. They have announced DLC and we've only gotten one piece of concept art. And so myself and a bunch of the other, like, YouTubers put on our tinfoil hats and did our best to attempt to analyze it. All right. Though the path be broken and uncertain, claim your place as Elden Lord. We're back where it all started. Aw, poop. Here we go again. The PC is also Marika. It matches the Elden Beast arena. It's a glimpse of the final battle right at the start. When you pause and bring up the menus, there's an image of sunlight reflecting in water at the bottom of the screen. What side of the screen? I'll need to like freeze frame it or something. Alright, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in my quest to become Elden Lord in this unpatched version of the game. So, that pretty much concludes things here. Stay tuned for more info about Demon Souls in the future and looking at other content creators' work. Hopefully we'll see you again on the next one. Stay safe, take care, and Last Protagonist out.